Hello, Jonapod everyone. Sounds strange, but that's as far as I can go with Hungarian. And thank you very much for coming here, because it's a very difficult choice for you. Because you have choice between listening the broken English in the Czech version or broken English in the Polish version in the next room. So it's not easy for you. Turn it on and it will work. So the trends in 2023, and I guess you already getting bored a little bit. So I think, this slide is here just to skip it. I don't really want to go through this one slide because I only have 30 minutes. I want to use them for something useful than to telling you what is happening and what you can see every day. I will be instead talking about this slide. Actually, thinking about it, I will not talk about this slide because most of you have just 30-minute presentation about this slide. And in Hungarian, because Zsolt did a great job, he was describing this slide, because this is doing the same thing that the Prisma Access is doing. Is a sasi, or shashi in Hungarian. So you probably, if you look at all these abbreviation like ZTNA and CASB, it's the same that Zsolt was showing in Palo. There is very little difference. Honestly, we don't have agent for Linux, okay? And I think we don't have explicit proxy for our web gateway. So that would be the differences that we are missing. And they are missing CDR and some other stuff, okay? So he saved me a lot of time. But in our case, this is a product that is called Forcepoint 1. And it's the product that Forcepoint is selling since, actually, we started selling it 2 days before Russia-Ukrainian war. So it's about like 14 months now. And it's a cloud-based SASE product that you heard about 30 minutes ago. So that's one part of today's story, okay? The second part of today's story, and if you read the description of this presentation, yeah, you probably didn't see the word marriage very often in IT descriptions, but that's what we did, okay? And if I will use this ridiculous suite that I could not resist to take from my wardrobe yesterday, I mean, if the date, working for a company that has a force in its name, it's hard not to do, but this marriage, that actually, I get that idea even before, because anyone know how you say one in Latin? Not really. It's Italian. It's actually unus, or you can say solo. Any bells? Yeah, solo. And the DLP, it gives me a hard time, but I came with the explanation that this stands for Darling Leia, the princess. Okay, so we are marrying the Han Solo and Leia together into the solution. That is, thank you. It's a marriage of two powerful solutions. And I mean, saying that Forcepoint 1 is the best SASE on the world, yeah, I mean, Zsolt did a good job, and being second on the world, it's not a bad thing. I mean, I hope he's not complaining. But one of the best solutions on the world with the best solution on the DLP market, because you cannot say there is a better solution. There are some Symantec funds, but they have to use Oracle, and this will kill them every time. So, yeah. So this is what we did. We announced this combination last week on the RSA conference in San Francisco, where I surprisingly was not invited. And that's what we do. So everyone knows Forcepoint DLP, or I hope you do, or using my Jedi power, you know. Forcepoint DLP. With that combination, we are moving it to next-gen data protection. And finally, we have some touch of marketing in our company, because if there is one thing I'm really envied to the Palo Alto, sorry about talking to them all the time, but they have one great thing, and it's marketing. And you know, when you see their data sheets, they already talking about ZTNA 2.0. They have next-gen CASB already. Majority of people doesn't have a CASB at all, but they already have next-gen CASB. So now we have a next-gen data protection. Okay, we leveling the field. So you know that there was a discovery, endpoint, email, network, web. That's all that we were covering before. It's all nice. That's making us the best DLP on the world. And now we are adding the cloud. So that's the new thing. Okay, we move the DLP into the cloud, not only into the static files as we used to have before, but also to all the proxy traffic that we have. Because what the Forcepoint one is doing, it is able to force the traffic going to our cloud proxies, going through our infrastructure, and then the DLP is able to scan it. So every time somebody sends a file from his OneDrive somewhere, downloaded it, uploaded it to his OneDrive, on his mobile phone, on his Microsoft 365 account, on his vacation, it can go through the cloud, it can scan if the file is sensitive or not, and it can do the action. That's important. And here, the little spoiler, because yeah, sometimes we need to create slides in advance. So this is in advance. We will be introducing very soon a DLP for API. Okay, so if you have any potential application in your company which talks API, which talks any API language, you can be now sending the files from that solution, and it can be really whatever, to our DLP, and DLP will say its opinion about it's sensitive or not. Okay, so that's how we are expanding the DLP into the cloud where it was not before. You know, I remember a couple of years ago when the customers were saying, yeah, but DLP, it's on premise only, and I tell them, yeah, but you don't want to go with DLP to the cloud. You know, now it's there already. So we're moving there. Of course, you can extend it with our solutions. There is many of them. We don't have enough time to cover it today. Unfortunately, we only have something like 21 minutes left. So I really want to focus only on DLP and what it can do in Forcepoint 1. One thing which is important is the easiness of how these two great products are actually merging together, because it's not a simple thing. If you have a mature product and you are putting it together into another great product, there are always some sort of complications when you have to do that. What we managed to do and how these integration actually work is that you have a middleman, some sort of tenant that you actually getting, which works between the Forcepoint 1 and the DLP. So if you or your customer is already a DLP customer, which happens, you don't have to do anything with a DLP, or correctly saying, I'm thinking probably have to do something like 12 clicks in order to connect these two things together. So you get the file, you just upload the file to DLP, upload the file to Forcepoint 1, say it's united, and that's it. That's all you have to do. The only other thing you have to do, and this screenshot I put out from the management, the part that will be new is this little tiny part here, because this is already there, this is already there. this is the new cloud channels where you can change the action that will be related to the file that will be related to the file that you are scanning. So that's the only thing that you need to configure per policy. And well, if you have the same policies, even if you have like 50 or 100 or 300 policies, you can do it through the batch operations basically within like 5-6 clicks for all the possible policies. So very, very simply configure what activities you would like to do. And the activities are various. You can of course allow it and just monitor it. You can put it to quarantine, you can block it, you can stop sharing it, you can stop sharing internal, you can stop sharing external. Then you have these kind of options that you may find in the cloud. As a result, what you will basically get is the single policy administration, so you don't have to like have a separate DLP solutions, because very often on these integrated solutions, the problem with them is that some parts of it are usually a little bit weaker, you know. And to be honest, I was telling that, you know, the Palo Alto is the same as we are. We basically going to the same direction, just attacking it from a different angles. So Palo is going from the connectivity side, we are going more from the data security side, okay? The common goal is the same, more or less, but the products are not the same at the moment. They have their differences, but our strength is definitely in the DLP, because sometimes in the other competitive solutions, DLP is sort of weak, and you don't have an option then. If you already have that solution, you don't have the option to add the DLP into the product, because you already have everything covered inside the channel. And sometimes it's pretty hard to integrate with a third-party DLP. So what you get after these few simple clicks, you obviously get everything that we have in our DLP. So for those who don't know, the DLP, it's over 1,600 out-of-the-box classifiers, so you don't really have to configure it manually if you don't need something else. Typically you do. You get the consistency between all the channels. So again, you have one policy and you don't care on which channel you are monitoring this. You just have the same behavior on all the channels. So it's very, very, very easy. You will have the advanced incident reporting and forensics, because every incident that will happen in the Forcepoint 1 will be synchronized into the DLP as well as in Forcepoint 1, but the main data will be in your DLP management, and you will get all the data there. And of course, in the cloud, you can do all and every single one that you can do on our DLP. The one exception currently is OCR, so you cannot read the pictures in the cloud. We hope we will be able to add it by the end of this year. Today it's not there. We are looking for a solution how to do it, because it's a little bit difficult to do it in the cloud properly, quickly. So that's what we are missing. The OCR is not in the cloud, but everything else more or less is. So after that, if you or your customer choose to have the Forcepoint 1 together with the Forcepoint DLP, you get basically that kind of full platform or full power of Forcepoint. We call it data first SASE, because the SASEs are different. We are considering it's the best to look at it from the data security, from the data, not from the connectivity point of view. Because the connectivity is given, it either works or not, and we are going to improve it with some specific things in the future. But now we are focusing on the DLP, on the data that are there. Everything else is there, as I said, all the ZTNA stuff, web security, gateways in the cloud, CASB for any cloud application. And And this is a little bit also in the future. We will also be using connectors to manage the emails that we currently cannot do in the product. So that would be the full design by the end of this year, I hope, because these connectors were promised for a Q4. It's always like management is promising these things. And after you will have this solution, you basically be able to cover all the channels with a single vendor, but with a great power of DLP on top of it. We're trying to simplify the architecture, so everything is managed in the cloud. There is a cloud management, cloud reporting that we currently have. With the integration with DLP, we also announced last week in San Francisco our Forcepoint Insights, which is a kind of nice dashboard for the combination of Forcepoint and Forcepoint DLP. This dashboard will be available for free for everyone, but you can buy an add-on in the future to consume data from the other products. So that is supposed to be our dashboard or visibility platform. And it's pretty nice. It is configuring your security levels. So it gives you an idea how good or bad in terms of percentage your company is in relation to the security stuff. So this is the platform. It's not the future, except this piece. It's something that you can get at the moment. Here is a little bit of transition from the dark side to the bright side. Okay. The thing is that for the current DLP customers, okay, if you are or you have a customer that has a DLP, there is a cost with this kind of plus thing. You know, you pay a license for Forcepoint, you pay a license for DLP, and then there is this kind of middleman, this kind of thing that is doing the magic, that is actually, calculating the sensitivity score for the files, and that costs something because it's in the cloud. We have to pay, and that cost is like a $30 or 30 euros per user per year. But this is kind of promotion, so a good time to release it on the market. If you buy it by the end of this year, which is this little text that you cannot read, definitely, saying like until 15 December 2023, you will get it for free. Or rather, our marketing guy, because I think he's the only one who is doing marketing in our company, he's telling like, don't tell them it's free, tell them it's increasing the value. So you get a 30% increased value for nothing, and that's a good deal. So you should consider it. I don't know if that will be repeated in the future. So that's the current situation, the current offer that we are doing. The one thing I forgot to mention, and this is related to the Forcepoint infrastructure and the Plus. I don't know how much you are aware of where the Forcepoint is coming from. Okay, it's like 1.5 years ago, we bought a company called BitGlass. It was an American/Canadian company that was basically doing the CASB for their customers. And we purchased the company because they had the fantastic technology of the scaling of the CASB. Because we learned on our own mistakes in the past that having cloud products and have to take care about the flexible nation of the product is very difficult. Because if you, for example, the biggest customer for Forcepoint DLP, we have two customers. One is Walmart in US that has like 600,000 employees or something like that. And we also have Indian Tata Consultancy, and they have 525,000 licenses. So only these two customers are over 1 million licenses. Yeah, and it's very hard if such a customer will tell you, okay, I go to Forcepoint 1, give me the license, I want big discount. And now we are panicking, like how we can get the traffic of 500,000 users to our data center in India. Yeah, you can imagine. Luckily, the engine that we are using, that BitGlass company that we purchased, they had a bright idea that the cloud product, it's not a bad idea to build on cloud platform. So they built it on Amazon platform. Thanks to that, and Amazon is the biggest, sorry, Amazon is the biggest provider of the cloud services. So they have the biggest footprint of data services. They have like a 330 something data centers around the world, which we can use depending where the customer is actually sitting. If he is in Budapest, data center is in Budapest. No problem with that. So that's one of the big benefits of the Forcepoint 1, the flexibility. No problem with the shrinking or expanding the tenants. All right. Going slowly to the final remarks. Forcepoint data security, it's not only what I was talking about, okay? Yes, that's great that we have a DLP that is the great. We have a Forcepoint 1, which is great as well. We have also other products on top of it. So we have something that we called Forcepoint data visibility. Don't know if you notice it. Forcepoint data visibility, it's a great tool when you have a big server that the people are putting the data into that server. I don't know, it might be SharePoint or some Samba server. This will kill me. But if you have a little bit of problems with understanding what kind of data is on this big server, the data visibility is something that will help you with that. Cataloging, classifying, tagging the documents, and integrating it with also our DLP. That's one recommended field of study. If you go away from this event and you will go to our webpage, type in data visibility, and read the paper that we have. A lot of customers would need to help like this. Then we have the other products, and in sake of my voice, I will not talk to you about them because you probably will not survive this, but there are some others. The last one thing I want to mention is this last line. You can see a Forcepoint 1 data loss prevention. So didn't I just tell that there is an integration with DLP? Yes, there is. But before the integration, there was a DLP inside Forcepoint 1, and there still is DLP in Forcepoint 1. So if you don't want the best DLP on the world, people like that exists, you can still get the free one. Well, the added value. Sometimes it happens that Microsoft will come to you or to your customer and will tell you, yeah, if you buy E5, you get the DLP for free as well. Yeah, so you can say, yeah, Microsoft Forcepoint also have DLP for free in their product. It's probably on the same level as the Microsoft, what it can do. It's not really terrible DLP. It's capable, it has some features that can help you. But yeah, if you don't want DLP, you can just get the Forcepoint 1 and get one DLP included in the Forcepoint 1. So just don't be confused. In Forcepoint 1, there is built-in DLP, but you can integrate it with the world's best DLP on top of it. And you can actually combine them from some reason inside the product. Okay, I still have 5 minutes, but my voice is going down, so the only thing I would like to tell you, and I think I'm the only one in this conference to have full right to tell it, Okay, I just have to tell the May the 4th be with you with my masterful translation to Hungarian. Probably this will be the better? Yeah. Okay. So if I would like to improve it even further, which is hard, but I manage, okay? So that's probably the message of the time. And usually they're advising us to give you some sort of takeaway for the end of the presentation. So my last takeaway will be this. And with that, I will thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the show today.